If you're anything like me, then you too used to be obsessed with watching The Biggest Loser on television. I don't know why, I just get so invested in other people's fat loss transformations. It's so inspirational, and I used to literally love this show. So when I saw this come up on my YouTube page, I thought it was gonna be super interesting to watch. It's a Jillian Michaels clip from the Joe Rogan podcast. I haven't listened to the full podcast yet, but I thought we could react to this 15-minute clip together. The title is Jillian Michaels on the PSYOP of healthy at any size. And if you've been living under a rock for the past 10 years and you don't know what the health at every size movement was, it's kind of dying now, honestly, but it was a movement rooted in body positivity that claimed that you could be healthy at any size, at every size, even morbidly obese. It got a little bit crazy and definitely didn't hold up, especially with the skinny movement coming back, as we know from all the skinny talk videos that I've done on my channel. And while body positivity does, of course, have some merits to it, the health at every size movement was just a fraud, honestly. I don't agree with it. I'm glad that we're finally moving away from that. Definitely, if I had a YouTube channel back in the day when that was really popular, you probably would have seen me react to a lot of body positive content. But today we're gonna react to this 15-minute clip from the Joe Rogan podcast with Jillian Michaels and see what she has to say. And then as your personal trainer bestie, I'm gonna add some of my anecdotes, some stuff that might help you guys on your fat loss journey, or just with fitness and health in general. So this is Jillian Michaels on the PSYOP of healthy at any size.
Did you experience any professional repercussions when you're pushing back against this healthy at any size stuff? Because that's
how much time do you have on that one?
Well, let's go into it, because that to me was so fascinating. That the concept of fat shaming, which like I don't think you should hurt anybody's feelings, but I think at a certain point in time, sometimes hurting someone's feelings causes actions, and hurting someone's feelings with the truth. And you can give the truth to someone lovingly. You know, you can say, look, I care about you. This is why I want to tell you you're a fat fuck. Like, you really are. You're disgusting, and you need to lose weight, and you're fully addicted to food, and you don't understand what it's doing to your body, and you're being lied to by all these other people, like these fat doctors. Like, there's some lady in the UK who calls herself the fat doctor. I'm like, great lady, you're just overwhelmed with information. I could just see it looking at you. This is crazy that you're giving this advice out when you can't walk up a hill. There's no way. Like, you're so unhealthy. And this idea that shaming people is worse than telling them the truth. It's going to make them feel bad, maybe temporarily, but you can do it with kindness. And then that person can make choices that will be, and then you encourage them. Like, I'm so glad you changed your diet. I'm so glad you cut out this and cut out that. And now you're doing well. And you've decided to walk 10,000 steps a day. And you've decided to start exercising a little bit, you know?
Yeah, if you really didn't pay attention during the health at any size movement, it was wild. Like, people would come at your throat for saying that being over 300 pounds was unhealthy. This is just like common sense, science-based stuff that we've all always known. And during that time, during the body positivity time, everybody literally would cancel you, would come at you, would literally give you death threats for just saying that it's not healthy to be obese. It was wild.
You've given me a lot to tackle here. So let's start with
the professional stuff.
The PSYOP component of healthy at any size. This is a big food narrative. This has been proven. Even the friggin'
explain big food narrative, what you mean by that.
Okay, so big food, put simply, hired a bunch of registered dietitians to co-opt this concept of intuitive eating. And I'm dead ass serious with hashtags like derail the shame, and they paid them and they put out all of these posts and went to all of these conventions and promoted the narrative that you can be healthy at any size. And it's just a flat out lie. It is a flat earther conversation. It is pseudoscience at its best. There's no truth behind that. There's a robust amount of data that show us being obese is associated with like 170 comorbidities. This is a non-factor. It's been debunked. We know this for a fact. So
I think this is a really hard part about my job as a personal trainer and fat loss coach online. You have to find the line between being really positive and being really encouraging with your clients, but then also making sure that they're actually doing the things that they hired you to do. People hire me to help them lose weight. And if they're complaining about not losing weight, but I see that they're not doing any of the things that I told them to do, you do have to have that little bit of tough love and just say, like, if you actually do the things that I'm telling you, you will succeed and you will feel better and be more confident in all the things that you want. They're achievable, but you have to do the things that I'm telling you. And of course, it comes from a place of love with your client. Like, it comes from a place of caring. Like, I want my clients to succeed, and they're not going to succeed if they're not doing what I'm telling them to do. It's really tough. And here's the thing. It's not that you can't be healthy and have a little bit of extra weight on you. Of course, especially nowadays, skinny is so in. Like I said, everybody wants to be so thin, and that's not necessarily gonna make you more healthy. You can be completely healthy with 30, 40 extra pounds on you, especially if you work out all the time, eat healthier foods, and you just happen to have a little bit of extra weight on you. That's totally fine. That's not the point of what she's saying. It's more past obesity, where you're 50, 60, 100 pounds overweight, that is a deeper issue, and she's about to go into it, I think, probably. So let's see.
When that happens, what they're doing is essentially placating someone who already feels, now I can attack what's going on, or address rather, what's going on with an individual who is that size, and it is largely psychological. Once you are past the point of dad bod, you know what I mean? Like, I worked 3 jobs, life beat me down, it's a food desert, and I'm 40 pounds overweight, and I've let myself go. This is a different animal. When you're dealing with somebody who is 50 plus pounds overweight, there's a psychological component. So the first thing we need to do is make them aware that there is a problem, without question. But you can do it without shame, giving them facts of, listen, this is unhealthy. And because you are such a valuable individual, I want you to understand this, because only from a place of feeling truly worthy are you able to facilitate a change. You don't work out because you hate your body. You work out because you love it.
Yes, and this is exactly what I talk about on my channel all the time with the mean spo, the thin spo, the skinny talk, where they're just calling themselves fat pigs, whales. They're like, oh, I want to skip my walk at lunch today. I'm just a fat pig. That is not appropriate. That's not coming from a place of love or a place of respect for your body. You work out and you eat healthy because you love yourself and because you want to be the best version of yourself, not because you're shaming yourself for being fat. That is not where true change comes from. I love that she says this, and it goes both ways. Like I said, with the skinny community, a lot of them are just shaming themselves, and they feel a deep hatred towards themselves for wanting to eat a little bit more or wanting to skip their workout. It's like a deep hatred for themselves. So this hatred definitely plays in on both sides, and it's only a place of love that you're actually going to change your body and your habits. So let's just keep going.
So it doesn't need to be a shaming. There's no shame there, to be honest, Joe. I know that people claim there is because you pointed out this vulnerability or this flaw in the person, but we all have flaws and vulnerabilities. People who are overweight simply wear them. So it's easier to judge, right?
Yeah, it's actually so crazy to think about how all of us struggle with mental problems of some kind. Like, we're all out here trying our best. We all have a ton of issues that we're facing in our everyday life. And when you have a little bit of extra weight on you, it really does show off, and people do look at you a different way. I hate to say it. I mean, I wish it wasn't true, but people, especially if they're already insecure with themselves, they will project it onto you and they will make you feel bad about your weight or your size or judge you for it. And it's crazy that every single other addiction or illness or anything, that's almost the only one that shows outright and you could see it. I never thought about it like that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So by educating them first, and then without question, I like to give people, or when I was able to do the work hands-on, that rock bottom moment, because they are overweight because it is providing them with something extraordinarily significant. And I can give you examples should you need them, but I promise you that at one time or another, people turn to addictions, in this case food, because it means their psychological survival. So put simply, the most obvious example would be a person who was incested, molested, raped, who puts on weight to desexualize. That's just one example of many, but it's easy to illustrate the point. So whatever this thing is providing them is the part that's so hard to let go of. Yeah. Because unconsciously it's terrifying. And you got to first show them this is why we need to change. And then you got to give them that path towards change, and you got to make it harder. You got to make them feel the pain. It could be physically, it could be psychologically, but it doesn't have to be shameful, of the way they've been living, so that the work and the sacrifice associated with change is less painful than continuing the negative and destructive habits.
And we all saw that with Biggest Loser. If you remember, Jillian Michaels was so hard on the contestants. She wasn't necessarily mean. Like, if they got to a point where they couldn't do it anymore, she would sometimes usually like try to comfort them or something, but she got really in people's faces. Like, she made them feel pain. Like she's saying, she made them feel pain to the point where that pain that they were feeling, she made them feel pain. But then once they got through the workout, they got through that really hard thing that she was making them do, they felt so good about themselves, so much better. And then they can run off of that and those positive endorphins for the rest of the season. If you remember, you know what I'm talking about.
You don't have to shame them. I know what the message seems like it is, but it really isn't.
Well, the whole term fat shaming is pretty recent, right?
Yes, very. Let's get right back to when I was just, you asked me what I lost. So,
intuitive eating is a fascinating phrase. And the idea that this is by the same people that used to be in charge of tobacco.
Yep.
This is what's really crazy. These are the R.J. Reynolds and these tobacco companies bought all these processed food companies, and they use the same tactics that they use with that to push terrible foods on people.
Intuitive eating doesn't work. Hot take, intuitive eating just flat out doesn't work. Sorry, but...
Well, they literally have a team of multidisciplinary scientists that work around the clock to figure out how to get people to not eat just one, and then they put it in a commercial, like literally in broad daylight. Like, we're doing to people.
Bet you can't eat just one.
Yeah. You know, but what they're doing is they are exploiting somebody's psychology and they're hijacking their biology with this food, without question. And this is why you have seen rates of obesity skyrocket from 70s when it was like 5% of the adult population was overweight or obese to 74%. Like, we're all, is it quantum leap in genetics? That's a big pharma psyop of like, no, this is all genetic. You're genetically obese. Well, where was what happened? I've never seen such a quantum leap in genetics. How come we were genetically obese in the 70s? Like, what was that tipping point, if you will, that created the cascade of obesity over the last 5 decades? Of course, it's exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, the obesity rate has gone up dramatically. It's such an issue, and it really is something that we don't want to talk about, I feel like. Everyone just wants to be comfortable in like how much they're eating, and the fast food companies want you to eat more and more and more. And I've also seen Ozempic being pushed back by the FDA. Like, they don't want to approve these things because they know it works. Like, that's my crazy conspiracy theory. I feel like they know it works and they don't want us to be healthy, especially with all the dyes and all the crap that they put in our food. Of course they don't want us to be healthy. Like she said, there's teams of scientists, huge teams of scientists literally making food so addictive that you cannot eat just one. Your mind is addicted, your body is addicted, and it's dragging you down. It's making you unhealthy. And that's why it's never a shameful thing to be overweight. Of course, it's hard to lose weight. Yes, it's simple. You just have to be in a calorie deficit and eat less, but it's not easy. It's really hard in today's day and age. And especially us at our like 9-to-5 desk jobs, nobody's moving. Everyone's addicted to food. It's just a whole mess. And by the way, if you are looking to lose weight in a really simple and sustainable way, I have a Fat Loss 101 guide that takes you through weight loss in 3 simple steps so you can start losing weight today, and that is totally free. You just gotta click the link below. But let's keep watching this video.
Yeah, it's ingredients in food. It's really simple.
That, and also how they engineer the environment, and you're surrounded by it. You can't escape it. Remember the days when you weren't allowed to have food at a bookstore? And now every friggin' bookstore has a cafe. Yeah, with a 600-calorie drink. Exactly. You are surrounded. There's nowhere you can go right now where food is not omnipresent, in particular, this crappy food. And they generally do it through government contracts and subsidies. So it's at your schools, your hospitals, like anywhere you go, you will find this garbage food. So even if you have that moment of willpower, which is arguably this fleeting moment of bravado, if you're constantly surrounded by it, you will give in. Managing your environment is a large part of helping someone be successful. It's a Band-Aid, right? If you're dealing with sexual abuse, for example, but controlling the environment is definitely a component in helping them. You can't control the environment.
Right.
You can't control the narrative. You can't control what's in the food. And it's all by design. It's not just the crap in the food. It's how they control the narrative around it and how they engineer the environment and how they systematically shut down the people that point it out as fat shamers, for example.
Environment is huge, especially with someone like myself who tends to have a hard time with binging. There are certain foods that I literally cannot have in the house because I know I will overeat them. Even when I worked at Trader Joe's, I worked at Trader Joe's for like 2 months before I moved to California, and I gained like 5 pounds because there were snacks everywhere and the environment was just snacky. Everybody was eating all the time in the break room. Trader Joe's stuff, we had to like try it all. It was delicious, don't get me wrong, but it was very dangerous, and I don't think I could have worked there for a prolonged amount of time without literally going crazy, because that's so unlike me. I'm not really a snacker in general, so it is crazy how much our environment can play a role in how much we eat and our habits.
It's fascinating to me that hospitals fall into this. A friend of mine was visiting his friend who has prostate cancer, and this guy is in the hospital being treated for cancer, and then he went to look at what they're feeding him in the hospital, and they were feeding him applesauce, which is loaded with high fructose corn syrup, apple juice or orange juice, which is not even juice, it's concentrate, it's all bullshit, and then some kind of a fucking sandwich, which is made out of this processed wheat bread.
Yeah, it's stable. It probably has in that meal alone 100+ chemicals. I think I'm being conservative.
Yeah, at a hospital.
It has to do with government contracts, though.
Yeah, but it's so crazy that hospitals, their diets in hospitals are co-opted.
That's actually crazy that a hospital would feed their patients that. I didn't even think about that, especially when you're like dying of something or you're in really, really poor health condition as it is. Yeah, they should have more healthy stuff at hospitals. That's wild.
I can't even, my kids, who I know will be watching this, so I love you guys. It's okay. But they stopped packing their lunches. And I was like, guys, why are we not packing our lunches anymore? And I would watch all the crap that I would buy go bad in the pantry. And my son ratted my daughter out. He's like, she's eating breakfast at school. And I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, the sugar cereal, who's having that at school? And I was like, what? What are you talking about? Even my kids who know better, it's
But isn't that a rebellion against mom, though? Which kids definitely do. Like my youngest daughter, she jokes around about, she's like, ooh, seed oils. I love seed oils. She'll have salad dressing with seed oil, and she like mocks me. I'm like, okay, you eat whatever you want, but just know what it is.
I honestly think the kids know what it is. And I try to give them enough freedom now at these ages, 13 to 15, to make some of their own decisions. So not everything is a pushback, but I truly think there is an addictive component.
Oh, for sure.
And she just, it's like, I'm so good at home. I don't mean to associate, not good, but I eat well at home. Let's put it that way. And just at school, I'm just going to do this at school. And the problem obviously is when she goes off to college, I won't be able to control the environment at home. And I'm like, honey.
It's so funny to think about Jillian Michaels being your mom. That would be a lot of pressure, I feel like. I feel like she might be a little bit of an almond mom based on this. I did a whole video about almond moms, by the way, and how crazy they are. But I had a household where there was a bunch of unhealthy food and like sugary cereal everywhere, and that wasn't good either. So I think with the whole like banning things from your house and not letting your kids eat a certain thing. Like she said, they're just going to find it at school. They're going to eat it anyways. And when you say something's bad, a lot of times kids want it more. So there's definitely a line to toe with this. It's tough. The whole kids eating healthy thing, it's really tough. And you really do want to make sure your kids have a good relationship with food, because I know firsthand how a bad relationship with food can develop at a young age. I don't know, if you're a mom or a dad, I would love to hear your thoughts on this, because it seems really tough. I obviously don't have kids, but I can imagine it's hard.
Okay, hold on. Forgive me. There's a like 20-year-old influencer named Bad Baby, I think. Joe, she saw this. Okay, she saw this girl.
That's the lady from Dr. Phil.
Yes!
Catch Me Outside.
Catch Me Outside. So she saw this girl, I think when she was like 9, and has followed Bad Baby. Bad Baby now has cancer.
What?
I believe so. And
for real?
According to
like
my
20?
daughter, exactly the point though. That's exactly the point. And so now I can say to my kids, this isn't just mom's generation, which how come? There's something else to look at. My mom is 76. None of the public figures in her generation got cancer. You didn't see Susan Sarandon or Sigourney Weaver or Meryl Streep. None of them got cancer. But in my generation, like Maria Menounos, Christina Applegate, something's going on with Angelina Jolie, Kate Middleton. In my generation, the canary is dead in the coal mine. It's not even a question of the negative impact. If we're not looking at statistics, if we're just looking from an observational perspective, it's in the news every single day. Someone's dealing with cancer. Olivia Munn. Now you're seeing 20-year-olds deal with this. And I was able to point to that to my daughter and say, this is the shit that I am talking about. She's 5 years older than you.
Okay, so they basically just talked about Bad Baby. I think Bad Baby is her name. The one who's like, Catch Me Outside. How about that girl? They talked about how she like lied about having cancer, or she had cancer, but she's coming to a further point here. So let's see.
Oh,
what I can tell you with certainty is that the rate of early onset cancer diagnosis in people 18 to 49 has gone up 79% over the past 2 decades. So if in fact Bad Baby is being untruthful and deceitful, those statistics are real.
Basically, she's saying that people are just more sick in general now than they used to be. And I know that the fast food portions have gone like 5 times up since the 1950s. Crazy statistics. I think overall, it's just best if you try to limit processed foods from your diet, not eliminate altogether, of course. Like you can have everything in moderation, but just know that being at a healthy weight and fueling your body with whole foods, fruits, vegetables, protein, getting your steps in, going to the gym regularly, these are all things that's going to further your lifespan. You're going to live longer. You're going to feel better. You're going to show up for your kids in a healthy way and show them how to live healthy as well. And it really is crazy how much in America they push for fast food. There's a drive-through at every single block, every single corner. There's like a Wendy's, a McDonald's, and a Burger King all within the same 2 seconds. It's just crazy, and it's not your fault if you succumb to these things. It's not your fault. It's not shameful if you overeat, if you have an addiction to food, if you have food struggles. I do too. I completely understand, and it's not your fault. But it is your life, and it is something that you have to learn how to control. You have to learn how to have that discipline in yourself. And again, this is a really hard thing as a coach to have to explain to people and be a little bit of tough love with people. At the end of the day, you're responsible for your own health, and discipline will get you through so many aspects of your life, and you're gonna thank yourself every single day for being healthy. I promise. I promise also that it's not as scary as it seems. It's not an all or nothing thing. I promise you can lose weight and still enjoy all the things you love, enjoy all the time with friends. It's just little tweaks and habits here and there. And again, that's why I make a lot of videos on fat loss and try to give you guys as much free insight and guidance as I can as a certified personal trainer. So if you did get value or entertainment out of today's video, I would love it if you would subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss a video from your personal trainer bestie. And if there's any other videos that you guys want me to react to, I would love to know in the comments below. You can also tag me in literally anything. And on the opposite side of body positivity, we have skinny talk. I have a ton of videos on that, and you can click one right here to check it out, and you can click right here to subscribe. It really helps me out if you did enjoy this video. It's totally free, and I really appreciate it. And I will see you on the next one. Bye, guys.